So here's what he writes, what they need to do before the deadline. Chicago is on pace to average its most runs per game since 1930, the season that the Cubs' Hack Wilson set the RBI record with 191. Even if some regression is inevitable on offense, the Cubs' needs reside entirely on their below-average pitching staff. Lately, the bullpen has been terrific. Since the last stock watch, the Cubs have racked up 7 saves and 19 holds with only 1 blown save while putting up a second-ranked bullpen ERA of 2.17. The rotation has ranked 20th in ERA during that span, largely due to issues keeping the ball in the park. Some of that is a product of design. The Cubs starting pitchers throw pitches in the zone more than anyone else. But adding to the rotation is a clear top priority for a club in the mix for the NL's #1 seed. Cub fans have to love hearing or reading that. It is
the Cub fans are going to love seeing quality baseball, good baseball being played for the rest of the Major League Baseball season.
That you're in play for the #1 seed?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But they got to keep playing better. They got to get everybody kind of ticking on all cylinders. Yeah. What kind of baseball? Can they sustain this level of play?
Yeah, can they win 97, 98 games? I think they might be able to.
It's not necessary in their division to have to do that. I don't believe.
Oh, I don't think so either. Yeah. Everybody lost last night. The Brewers lost again, right? The Reds are getting hot now. The Cardinals, I think, lost again last night. Cubs obviously lost and didn't gain any ground. They got a 4-game lead in the NL Central right now. The Pirates are the hot team all of a sudden, I feel like.
Oh, the
Pirates won again last night.
Pirates are hot. Yeah, they're terrible.
They stink.
You don't worry about them, Carm.
You do not worry about them.
Oh, boy.
The Cubs, still have that 4-game lead on St. Louis. It's 5.5 on Milwaukee, and the Reds at 34 and 33, they've made a little charge here, are still 6.5 games out of first place. All right, this is what he writes just real quick about the White Sox, too, real quickly. Why not? How about the win average, though? It's, the Sox are all of a sudden trending for like 55 wins. Hey, let's throw a parade. 58.2 is the win average right now. In the playoffs, 0.0%.
I like it.
Championship, 0.0%. What they need to do before the deadline. Make a call on Luis Robert Jr. This season has really been a worst-case scenario for the White Sox when it comes to Robert. His numbers have been bad from the outset and somehow keep getting worse. Robert's offseason work to improve his swing decisions have resulted in a career-best walk rate, but at the expense of just about everything else worth value. His 21 stolen bases and good defense mean he can help a team, but his 546 OPS means they aren't going to treat him as if 2 $20 million club option years are worth anything. Right now, he's a defense and speed short-term outfield pickup with a $2 million buyout. So should the White Sox unfurl the white flag and take any deal they can get? The answer is probably tied to how willing Chicago would be to pick up the first of those options in the absence of a deal. Otherwise, the vultures will be circling. It's a pretty good breakdown on the decision they have to make. I think you take anything you can for him. I'm not sure there's going to be much in terms of rebuilding his value. Maybe I'm wrong on that, and a year from now, he's awesome again, and he looks like the 5-win player from a couple of years ago, and they can trade him when he's much more desirable. But I find it hard to believe. I mean, we're getting into a pretty big sample where the offense just has not been consistent, and he might be a prime guy for just a reset in a different franchise in a different spot right now, and maybe he recaptures some of the old magic at the plate, Yerk. But he is certainly a corner outfield addition. Center, obviously he could play center for a lot of teams too. Don't get me wrong. I feel like a team acquiring him, and I know for sure there is one American League contending team that is kicking the tires right now on Luis Robert. I will tell you that. They would play him in a corner as a late inning defensive speed replacement and hope to get whatever they can out of his offense that has really slumped over the last plus year. I think you probably take whatever you can get. I hate to say that, but
that's where you're at.
I think that's where you're at.
That's where you're at.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Hope that you hit on whatever you get.
It's been really bad.
Yep.
I mean, Luis Robert right now has a negative 0.1 WAR from Baseball Reference. He has only 11 extra base hits. That's what's so shocking. A 177 average, but man, oh man, he does have 25 walks. As Bradford pointed out, that's up a little bit. His walk rate is up, because he's been slightly more disciplined at the
How many
plate.
steals?
He has 21 steals. He doesn't get on base, and he's got 21 stolen bases.
He's stuck on 21. He's been there a while.
Can't get on base. What are you going to do? 11 extra base hits, though, Yerk, in 233 plate appearances, a 56 OPS plus. Ugh. It really is a worst-case scenario. There's just not going to be much that they're going to be able to get for, at least I don't think, for Luis Robert at this point. Looks like they might have done well in the Garrett Crochet trade. I hope, because I didn't like them being so willing to trade Garrett Crochet or feeling like they had to trade Garrett Crochet. But Mydroth looks like he can play. I don't know how high the ceiling is, but he looks like a competent big leaguer. Teal is up 3 for 8 over his first weekend. We'll see how this goes with Kyle Teal, who was one of the best prospects in their organization post-trade. And the gem of the trade is still 22 years old and in the minors and probably not in the big leagues for another year and a half, and that's Braden Montgomery. I mean, he's the real, potential, look how well you did for Garrett Crochet piece, and he's not even close to being up yet. So maybe they did okay in all this. I did not like their attitude trading Garrett Crochet. I'm sorry, I didn't. But I really hope that at the very least, 3 years from now, you're looking at it going, wow, they're 3
Look
pretty
what they
good.
got. Yeah.
Look what they got.
Look what they got.
Braden Montgomery's a stud.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's going to be dependent on Braden Montgomery being what they think he could be and what people around baseball think he could be. He's going to have to be the stud. And if he is, and this is Mydroth and Teal's good, you'd be like, oh, okay.
Not bad.
Still don't like the attitude about, no, we can't keep Garrett Crochet, but maybe somehow there's a silver lining in all this, York, down the road. And maybe someday I'll get to watch them again, too, because they're off free TV now. Their over-the-air signal's done. So with the Comcast news. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that. Yeah, no, I saw that.
I
saw the
agreement.
agreement.
Us, huh?
Yeah. Nice. What are you going to do with that antenna now? I got a couple ideas.
I asked, what should I do with it? Do you want me to bring it to the golf?
Moon River.
Should I bring it to the golf outing and auction it off tomorrow?
Auction it off.
What should I do with that HD antenna?
Give it away. Give it away as a door prize. That's what you should do.
Would that be funny? Should I show up tomorrow with the? You want me to bring it tomorrow?
Who's didn't work? Who had one that didn't work?
Never worked.
Sylvie should bring it and give it away too.
Describe the size of it.
It's about the size of this book that I'm holding. Now, you can't see that unless you're on YouTube. Like and subscribe, youtube.com/@Carmen and Jurko. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for us if you're there. Or Twitch. It's about the size of this. This
is what you should do. Bring it tomorrow.
Should I bring it?
And we will set it up with a couple of tees, and we will lay it out, and you take your driver and you smash it.
That's actually not a bad idea either. All right, let's try.
Off the first tee, you set the antenna, tee it up, and then you take the driver to it.
I'm going to try not to forget this tomorrow. I hope I'm not halfway to Seven Bridges and I go, oh, damn, I forgot.
And see how far you can hit it.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Set a reminder for yourself right now.
Yeah, put it in the icon.
Right now. I need to. Do not forget the antenna, because what good is it for me? That antenna no longer serves any purpose.
Give yourself a notice. Yeah. Put it down. Give yourself a notice. A note, an alarm that goes off in the morning that reminds you to put that useless antenna in there.
I'm going to put it in the calendar right now. Would you like coffee? Waddle is offering.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I love
Tommy.
Coffee.
Of course he wants coffee.
Just a large.
Just a large. Cream and sugar?
Just a large. Sandwiches, you said, Carmen?
No, cream and sugar.
I heard you owe again.
I don't owe again.
What happened?
Chris said
I got back into the meeting, and somebody said, yeah, you owe.
Chris said he'd buy sandwiches if I went and rewatched the French Open. I liked talking about it yesterday with these guys, and I'll watch Wimbledon if they're in the final. It sounds like these two are studs.
Sinner and Alcaraz?
Yeah, but I'm not going to rewatch a 5.5 hour tennis match.
Yeah, I watched some of the highlights and was perfectly enthralled.
Chris said he would have bought sandwiches had I done that, but no, I'm not. I was watching the Stanley Cup, although the Stanley Cup game thoroughly disappointed me.
I'm not accusing you of being selfish.
Well, you could,
but sometimes you need to think about the team.
Yeah, that's
right.
I'm not watching 5.5 hours. I wouldn't even know where to find it.
You could fast forward through the commercials, the break sets. It might not have been 5.5.
Yeah, I'm assuming. No,
you can find it.
Isn't TNT owned by Warner, right?
Yeah, you can find it on
so
Peacock.
It probably would be accessible on Max, I'm guessing.
You know what? Maybe it is on Max. You're probably right, Chris. Maybe I could go
Well,
back
if you
and
watch it, this man's gonna.
Yeah, I'll buy
This man's gonna
sandwiches.
buy
It still
sandwiches.
holds. If you watch it, if you sit and watch and you text us through the entire event of you watching all 5.5 hours, I will absolutely buy sandwiches
I don't think it's going to happen.
for the team.
You can fast forward through the commercials.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Any bathroom breaks, you can fast forward through that.
I don't think they took bathroom breaks.
That's incredible. Well, I guess when you're
Adele,
sweating
you
that
were watching
much.
it too. Do you recall a moment when they took a period of break throughout the match?
No, they didn't do the Jokovic where he's like, all right, I'm going to go get
the faking of an injury. And
I'm going to
then-
go get a tea and a crumpet real quick. I'll be right back.
God, no one does that to perfection like him. He gets down in a set, and then he fakes an injury, disappears for 10 to 15 minutes,
Guys, I gotta
comes
poop.
back, and he is just lights out
Breaks the momentum of the
every
other guy.
single time.
It's that guy cold.